Hello there and good evening, and many thanks for joining us tonight as we evaluate the latest political happenings across the country and of course in terms of business news and sports across our borders. Now, a section of Kenyans staged a nationwide protest today, giving police officers a run for their money, driven by intense rage over record high fuel prices following a sharp increase in taxes and pump prices. Despite slight VAT adjustment, the pain at the pump prompting demonstrations spreading to major towns and causing disruption. Now, following high fuel prices, the cost of living crisis is escalating, with fuel prices impacting transportation, logistics, and commodity prices, exacerbating public frustration. The authority maintains that the fuel crisis is a global crisis occasioned by Iran-Israel war, and tonight we dissect on fuel crisis in the country and what the future looks like in the coming days. And of course, my guest tonight is Pamphile Omondi, who will be helping us to dissect this very important conversation. Remember, we have much and more lined up for you, and that will be forming part of our discussion tonight and in our subsequent bulletin. But first thing first, our top stories tonight. Tonight,
even where there is real abduction, nobody will take seriously because the judiciary is playing around with serious matter.
The Gangs Land. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen says over 100 organized gangs are operating in Kenya.
We are peaceful.
Rage over fuel. At least 9 people have been arrested as Kenyans take to the streets to protest over hiked fuel prices. Also tonight, you have 1 week. Kuppet vows to down their tools on Monday next week if government does not heed to their plea. Plus, which way ODM? Internal wrangles within the ODM party continue to deepen rift 20 years later.
This is Time News with Auma Evans.
Tonight, I'm not alone. I'm in full backup of Joy Mtava as our sign language interpreter tonight. Remember, you can follow this broadcast on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on KUTV YouTube, on KUTV News Kenya. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Auma Evans, the hashtag to use State of the Nation. So tonight we begin State of the Nation with matters security. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen and his security team, including the Inspector General of Police and the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, have today rubbished statements that they are facilitating and allowing goons to wreak havoc in the country. According to the security hierarchy, politicians and powerful figures are sabotaging enforcement from security apparatus. Edward Nyamu opens our bulletin tonight with the following report.
In front of the Committee on Administration and Internal Security, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen was tasked with questions on the root cause of increase in goonism in the country.
Politicians, because you have mentioned politicians, which I agree, yes, they are culpable, but the officers which are also culpable are the offices of the security people in Nairobi and the offices of the ODPP.
Murkomen, who was backed by Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and the Directorate of Criminal Investigation Mohammed Amin, rubbished accusation of his involvement, pointing fingers on influential politicians.
For example, Mr. Chair, there are departments, in a number of counties, they have departments and a chief officer in charge of goons. Yeah, and they are the ones who will now, before the governor goes to the rallies, is the one who mobilizes people. The other question why goons and gangs thrive is because the line is very thin, very thin. There is a thin line between a criminal and political supporters. And political supporters who are criminals when they are committing crime and when they are just present themselves as supporters. Now tomorrow, including you when you go for the rally on Sunday, can you for sure tell this house that you will not mobilize criminals to accompany you to the rally? You cannot say with certainty because, you can't say with certainty because you are already, even now in your mobilization preparation, now you are saying vijana wetu ya kutoka wapi?
The issue of the coordination between goons and police, Murkomen sidelined the security apparatus of their involvement, stating that the security is overwhelmed due to politicians' muscle after arrest of the goons.
The IG is also under pressure from all of us, including yourselves, including all of us, executive, yourself, judiciary, big people, business people, billionaires and so forth. Always saying, hiyo ni mtu yangu, wachilia ule, fanya hiyo. We need to allow the National Police Service to do its work independently.
However, Murkomen warned leaders forcing abductions, stating that the police are being blamed wrongfully and advised political leaders against inciting Kenyans against the government.
It means that in future, nobody will take seriously cases of abduction, because even where there is real abduction, nobody will take seriously because the judiciary is playing around with serious matter. That young man should have been held into account the same way with these other politically organized abductions.
The issue of insecurity in Wajir, Isiolo and other areas caused uproar, with members of parliament pressuring the CS to clearly address the boundaries dispute in the areas. But according to the CS, practices are underway to deal with boundaries disputes. The security team is now tasked with the duty of improving measures of curbing goonism as we near the general elections. Edon Nyamo, KUTV.
At the same time, Nairobi County Police Commander Isa Mahmood has confirmed the arrest of 11 youths who are being held at Central Police Station following protests that broke out on Tuesday in Nairobi's Central Business District. Some of the youth gathered in the archive area to demonstrate against the rising cost of fuel, which they claim has contributed to the increasing cost of living in the country. And as a result of the unrest, many business owners were forced to close their shops early for fears of looting. Our reporter Akida Kasim was in the Central Business District and filed the following report.
We are peaceful. We are peaceful. We are peaceful. We are peaceful.
The protest, which were expected to attract large crowds, saw a relatively low turnout, with only a small number of demonstrators appearing in various parts of the city. At the National Archives area, a few youths were seen gathering in groups, expressing frustration over the increasing in fuel prices and accusing the government of implementing the changes without public participation.
Before government ifanye kitu yoyote, inafaa kufanya kitu inaitwa public participation. Walituuliza wakiongeza mafuta, wakati Ruto anapunguza shilingi 9, alituuliza wakati anatoa hiyo shilingi 9. Ruto anatupea 40 bob na anakuja anafika mahali anasema kwamba anataka kutuongeza. Na mimi nataka kuambia polisi wale wako civilian. Mimi kama mmoja hapa alikuwa ananishika. Mimi unanishika, sijakuibia, si mwizi, kuna wezi wananisumbua kwa nyumba.
The situation differed from previous protests as police avoided the use of tear gas and instead arrested some demonstrators who defied orders. At the same time, many business owners closed their operation early to protect their property.
Ukiangalia hata kila mtu amefinyika sahi. Sana sana ikikuja kwa sector transport. Sahi transport iko very high. Unaona? So sana sana hiyo ndio naweza kuomba serikali tafadhali hiyo transport ishuke.
Nasikia leo mnaandamana kwa sababu mafuta kupanda. Juzi Ruto alipunguza bei ya mafuta. Je, mnasemaje?
Alipandisha na shilingi 40 akapunguza na shilingi 9. Hiyo ni uongo. Sisi sio wajinga. Tumesoma. Yeye mwenyewe anafaa kutoa hiyo shilingi 40 yote na aende. Si ati atoe na watu. Aende.
Nairobi County Police Commander Isa Mahmoud confirmed the arrest of 11 protesters currently held at Central Police Station, stating that the demonstration had not been officially authorized by the relevant authorities.
Why are they arresting us? We are peaceful as Gen Z.
However, the protesters insisted they will continue to pressure the government to lower fuel prices in order to ease the burden of the high cost of living.
How many so far arrested, sir? So far we have arrested 11.
11, where are they? Which areas specifically?
Meanwhile, the debate over fuel prices continues to gain momentum, with citizens demanding a lasting solution to the increasingly difficult cost of living in the country. Akida Kasim, KUTV.
Now, that story will be forming the basis of our discussion tonight in the State of the Nation. Now, at the same time, Cabinet Secretary of Investment, Trade and Industry, Lee Kinyanjui, has warned that the ongoing Middle East crisis is disrupting Kenya's export sector. Through his X account, Kinyanjui highlighted rising freight cost, cargo delays and reduced export volumes, particularly in tea, meat and horticulture. He added that the government has introduced fuel tax relief and is pursuing alternative trade routes and market to cushion exporters and sustain economic stability. And now to matters education. The Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, Kutv, has threatened to take to the streets next Monday unless an agreement is reached between the government and the union. The union wants the government to employ 44,000 intern teachers on permanent terms and address the pending medical insurance cover, failure to which they will resort to mass action.
The Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, Machakos branch, have to resort to mass action on Monday, the 27th of this month, if government will not heed to their demands. The union demanding that the government employs 44,000 intern teachers on permanent terms and addresses their medical insurance.
Maandamano hapa Machakos yanaanza on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday na Thursday na Friday kama ibada. Tutaandamana hadi serikali itusikize. Tumekuwa tumenyamaza tukiwapea nafasi ya kutafuta pesa na sasa hivi hakuna pesa imetafutwa. Na maandamano yatakuwa mengi, pia SHA haifanyi kazi. Walimu wanapatiwa limit ya 1200. Hiyo ndio mnaita comprehensive cover.
A situation set to affect thousands of students across, led by their secretary, Yvonne Musyoka. The teachers complained about the Social Health Authority, SHA, which they claim is not supporting them access healthcare services. A situation set to affect thousands of students across, led by their secretary, Yvonne Musyoka. The teachers complained about the Social Health Authority, SHA, which they claim is not supporting them access healthcare services.
We have the issue of capitation from the SHA, only 1,200 when it comes to in outpatient. So we want to tell the government that they should come out clearly and fix those issues before next week.
The teachers have cautioned the parents against sending their children to school next week, warning that no learning will take place until their demands are met.
We want to tell the government that come next week, we are going to rally behind our teachers to ensure that they be on the streets to demand their rights. We have the issue to do with the last benefits. It is not clear.
Equally, Evelyn Kelly, the union's youth secretary, has emphasized on the call for the government to prioritize the permanent employment of these intern teachers.
We are singing one song that the government should confirm the interns. The magic number is 44,000, not 26,000. Confirm our fellow intern teachers. As a JS teacher, I stay in the same staff room with the same teachers. I pay a different share and they are not covered. What is so different with them? We are saying our intern teachers, they are people who have gone to the university, they have a degree, and they deserve to be treated well.
The hiring of intern teachers has become a difficult issue within the teaching sector, as these educators have been counting on permanent placement after completing their internship. The union is urging the government to address this seriously, especially following a court ruling that declared the teacher internship program unconstitutional. Phyllis Wanja, KUTV.
All right, thank you, Phyllis Wanja, for that comprehensive reporting. And now switching gears to matters politics, leaders of the Linda Mwananchi movement, led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna and his Vihiga counterpart Godfrey Otsosti, today led a meeting with Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya in what is perceived to be a deliberate move to unite the Luhya nation and expand the outfit wing. Our political affairs reporter Hassan Leo analyzes the meeting and its implication for the Western region politics.
These are photos that quickly spread across social media, images of key political figures from the Western region. At first glance, the photos show Nairobi Senator and Linda Mwananchi leader Edwin Sifuna, together with the Vihiga Senator Godfrey Otsosi and Governor Natembeya sharing a cup of tea. But there is more to these photos. These are emerging political figures from Western Kenya representing a new generation. They are seen as challengers to Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, who have been named as the Western Kenya kingpins, currently aligned with President William Ruto. The meeting between Sifuna, whose Linda Mwananchi movement is gaining popularity day by day, and Governor Natembeya, who is rising through the Tawe movement, could potentially shake up Western Kenya politics.
Sisi tumeshindwa kupanga siasa yetu. Tumepeleka watu kule mbele, wameenda pale kwenda kulala wasingizi, hawajui ile tabu tuko nayo. Hii umaskini ambayo tuko nayo hapa Western, ndiyo nafanya hata karani wa president anakuja kusomea sisi kama watoto wadogo.
However, the three leaders have not officially announced their alliance. It is only the photos circulating. Still, on social media, Senator Otsosi revealed that their morning discussion focused on unity and accountability. Following this meeting, the Linda Mwananchi movement is expected to head to Vihiga County on Saturday and Kisumu on Sunday. However, it remains unclear whether Governor Natembeya will attend these rallies. Hassan Lewa, KUTV.
Now, still matters politics. As the party continued to celebrate its 20 years in existence, the fractures within the Orange Democratic Party deepens as rival faction wage war for control of the party. The demise of the late Raila Odinga seems to have left the party in total chaos and deep rifts that threatens to tear the party asunder. Born out of resistance, following the no campaign against proposed draft referendum in 2005, led by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, the Orange Democratic Movement Party ODM quickly became a dominant force, championing devolution and democratic reforms. Following 205 supremacy battle, ODM emerged as a massive opposition force, with the party gaining high parliamentary representation in 2007 general elections, despite its presidential candidate Raila Odinga losing to former president the late Mwai Kibaki in a disputed election. Despite never winning the presidency directly in 5 attempts since its inception, ODM solidified its position as a major national party, particularly strong in regions like Nyanza and within the national opposition movement such as Kude Nasa. 20 years later, the once vibrant and dominant political outfit in the country is fighting for its dear soul. The demise of the late Raila Amolo Odinga has left the party in total chaos and deep rifts that threatens to tear the party asunder.
Raila left us in a broad-based arrangement, in a broad-based government. And in the broad-based government, we are moving on, and I have been given mandate by my party to proceed and negotiate with our partners in the broad-based government, and that is to start negotiation with President Ruto.
Na sisi tumesema kuendelea mbele, kiongozi wetu ni Dr. Oburu Oginga, na akisema left tunaenda hivyo na tunasonga mbele, na yale mambo ambayo baba alikuwa akiyapeleka mbele sisi tutazidi kuzipeleka mbele, lakini chama lazima iwe na nidhamu. Hakuna mtu mmoja mkubwa kushinda chama cha ODM, na sisi tutalinda chama, tutalinda ground na tutalinda wananchi, na yale mambo yote baba alikuwa anaelezea na anayapeleka mbele tutaendelea kuyapeleka mbele.
At the center of the tempest is the decision by a section of ODM party officials led by its current party leader Dr. Oburu Odinga to support the re-election of President William Ruto under the broad-based arrangement, pitting the embattled ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna's led faction who are opposed to such move.
Oburu, tafuta SG wako. Mimi siwezi kuwa SG wa Oburu. Hiyo nataka niseme hapa mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu na mbele ya taifa zima. I will not be the SG of mediocrity after Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. You characters don't deserve me. I will say this without fear or favor.
The ODM party seemed to be fighting its war in all fronts. Even before the dust could settle, political tension continued to escalate as ODM alleges UDA plot to weaken its stronghold.
Chetu ya ODM hawezi kufanywa nini? Hawezi kumezwa. Our party will grow from strength to strength. It can never be swallowed by anybody. It is too big to be swallowed. If you try to swallow it, your stomach will burst. If you try to swallow our party, your stomach will burst. And I'm telling you that that is not possible.
As the party continued to celebrate its 20 years in existence, the fractures within the ODM party deepens as rival factions wages war over control. All right, now it's time to take a very fast break here on the State of the Nation. Remember, when we come back, it's about the state of the nation, where tonight we reflect on the pain at the pump, the fuel prices that continue to skyrocket, that continue to raise a lot of concerns and agitation among Kenyans. Today, a section of Kenyans took to the streets to protest over what they call the hike in fuel prices, which in turn continue to reflect on the pocket of common mwananchi. And that discussion will be coming later on with my guest tonight, Pamphile Omonde, political analyst, even as we dissect on this very important discussion about the state of the nation. But for the time being, let's take this very short break. We'll be back with more.
Msana lugha. Lugha ni zaidi ya maneno. Ndio maana sisi Waswahili kila siku tunaitumia kazini, mitaani, kwenye mapenzi na katika jamii. Jiunge nami Padironga kila Jumapili katika Mawimbi ya Lugha, tukichambua Kiswahili kwa undani, maana yake, mabadiliko yake na nafasi yake katika maisha yetu. Kutoka utambulisho, mapenzi hadi mustakabali wa lugha yetu. Mawimbi ya Lugha kila Jumapili, usikose saa 2.
Aliacha kazi yake kama mwalimu wa shuleni, kazi iliyokuwa ikimzolea mapato mazuri.
Nika-quit, nikasema sasa I want to go to a student's home to teach them. Sasa hapo ndio msukumo ilianza. Na hapo I was quitting a job yenye nilikuwa nalipwa vizuri, and the first client I got nilikuwa nalipwa 12,500 per month.
Helen Wamboi sasa anafafanua sekta ya elimu upya kupitia mafunzo ya nyumbani, ama ukipenda homeschooling. Ipate simulizi yake kwa utendeti zaidi Jumatano hii katika kipindi cha Mwanamke Mwake Mwake, ukiwa nami Caroline Kimwele.
We are here today to protect the future. That future is us.
Hi everyone, my name is Karen Wanjiru Kimani. I'm 13 years old. I am an environmental ambassador, voice of the children, climate change champion, founder and CEO of Current Fort Environmental Conservation Foundation, and I am the current ambassador of the United World 2025-2026. And today we are here to launch my 50-acre forest that the KFS has allocated us in Kinale, Kiambu County.
Ari na fahari ninayo kukujuza habari, sio mara moja wala mara mbili, bali siku zote. Auma dawamu runinga ya KU inazama na kuzuka, kuanzia mwambao hadi mashinani. Tunachimba mizizi ya habari kukuletea yanayojiri. Na katika ulingo wa kisiasa,
William Samoei Ruto,
tunachambua mbivu na mbichi, tukiweka yote paruanja yanayokuhusu wewe katika jamii. Mtazamaji, una kipaji cha kuvikwa taji? Bila shaka runinga ya KU tutakuvika taji, na wala sio kilemba cha ukoka, tukiangazia kipaji chako. Usikose kuungana nami na odha wako wa Kidakasim kila siku ya Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa, tukiweka yote paruanja. Daima ukiwa nami ni Nadra Chombo, kuenda mrama.
Kama wazazi wako. Shetani ashindwe.
Why are you trying to kill? I get it.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Okemwa Mukwa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
they find it quite strange talking to you.
You should just make schools integrated,
inclusive setups
by providing the right facilities.
Bajuka ni kama unarusha mikono, tingisha kichwa chuko usivute kisogo. Mbona nyinyi na wawasha nkikula nyama choma tu firifiri na
give me your hand and shoulder. I'm feeling vibes on vibes. I'm a ticking dynamo. Tell them twerking. Look the lambas perfect.
I'm going for the tall one. His legs look perfect for a good itch.
I don't know. I think I have a fever and I don't have any energy.
Yeah, like there's a war going on inside me.
It has to be the pond. Ponds, rivers, and we will keep snails inside them to show how people get sick.
Yeah, and we'll add pictures of safe water too.
Run safe, don't jump inside. Stay safe and let adults guide. Snails bring danger, don't you see? Safe water keeps you healthy. Bilharzia free.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Right, welcome back and thank you for keeping it State of the Nation. So this is where we take up that conversation about the state of the nation, and tonight we'll tilt our lenses on the very growing concern, which is, according to President William Ruto, allow me to quote him, there is a global crisis that not only affects Kenya but the world. I'm talking about the fuel prices that has sparked a lot of controversy and anger among Kenyans, some demanding for immediate action and some even demanding for the resignation of key heads, including the Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum, that is Opiyo Wandayi, and his trade counterpart, Lee Kinyanjui. Now, and of course, to help us dissect this very important discussion is Pamphile Omondi, a political analyst. Asante sana for making time to shed some light in this very important discussion about the hiked fuel prices in the country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Evans, for having me here. My name is Pamphile Omondi. Yes, educationist, activist, and also political analyst.
All right.
Yes.
So let's get straight to it, Pamphile. Well, today we have seen a section of Kenyans turning out to demonstrate about the rising fuel prices in the country. And of course, some calling for immediate intervention to cushion Kenyans against the rising cost of fuel prices, which in return reflects the rising cost of living. What is your take in this, what the president calls a global crisis?
Actually, seeing Kenyans coming out to demonstrate about the fuel rising, they are doing the right thing, because we are taking the president by his own words. When he was the DP, by then Uhuru Kenyatta was the president, such a thing happened whereby the fuel prices increased. And Uhuru Kenyatta with his government told us that it was because of the war in Iraq. And by then, who is the president today, William Ruto, refuted and gave a press conference saying that that one can't affect the fuel prices, whereby he called upon the CS of energy during that time to come out clear and ensure that Kenyans are cautioned. The same thing is happening today. When the fuel prices went up, now today the President William Ruto forgot the press conference that he gave then about the issue of the fuel and just an excuse to say that there is war in Iraq. So today, the same excuse that he refuted then is the same excuse that he's giving today. So we are calling upon William Ruto. Does he listen to himself before he calls upon something, before he gives any excuse? That is why Kenyans, we came out to demonstrate, because that time he gave an excuse and said it's not about the war. It is about the corruption. And today now we are saying, why are you saying it is war and not corruption? That is why we are calling upon the CS of energy to resign, because it is President William Ruto, when he was DP, said that it is the corruption. Why not now, not being told that it's the corruption? So this is a double speaking man.
All right.
Yes.
And when you look at the global crisis which we are experiencing right now when it comes to the fuel dynamics in the country, and not only in Kenya but even around the world, occasioned by the Iran and US and of course Israel war, which many things is the contributing factor to this. And it's a global crisis which has sparked. But there is some interventions that the government put in place. Remember, what really causes the fuel prices to actually rise is we have the landing cost. Then from there we have additional taxation, including the levies, of which out of that we have the 16% VAT, which was imposed later on. But now it was reduced to 13, now to 8. Don't you think that is some sort of a little bit of relief to Kenyans?
This is just a political gimmick that the government is playing with the people. Because if you look at the cost of the fuel, the one that has just landed, the fuel left there before the war. So the fuel that we have today cannot be affected by the ongoing war that is taking place there. So these guys are just taking advantage because we have people who want to eat from this fuel. Two, they told us about G2G deal, government to government deal, which they said that this one will caution Kenyans against the rise of prices. So if they're in the same deal of G2G, why again are they telling us that now the fuel is increasing? Because when we say that this G2G deal is corruption, they told us no, this is the best deal that will ensure Kenyans are cautioned about the increase of the prices of fuel. So how comes now G2G is not helping Kenyans to ensure that the prices of fuel are stabilized? So that is why Kenyans, we have more questions to ask and they don't have answers to give to Kenyans. So this is just pure corruption. Yes. If you look at now the tax that is being, they are telling us now the tax has reduced from 16 to 8%. We are saying now if you want to reduce, let it be zero tax, tax-free, until this war comes to an end, so that we have a stabilized fuel prices in Kenya, because Kenyans are suffering. Like today I was driving along Mombasa Road. You realize that these matatus are empty. And where are the people? On the road walking. I was wondering, the road is full of people walking along, coming from work, going to work, simply because the prices of the cost of transport has gone high. And the government is just here playing politics. And if you realize, and if you have studied William Ruto very well, he's a man who brings some problem so that he offers the solution so that Kenyans can clap for him. Now we are nearing the election. Now he's tailoring these prices to go up so that when it is nearing the election time, he brings it down. He says, now mnaona nimeweka mafuta bei chini. We clap for him. We fools Kenyans. When will we grow up and ensure that we take this government to accountability? Those are games that we have seen he's playing.
All right. And of course, that is a claim that we can't, for sure tell if that's the real situation on the ground. I'll say that is your sentiment. Anyway, so let's talk about now the pain at the pump, and of course which reflects on now the ordinary citizens. You see, part of the reason why some of Kenyans actually turn out today to demonstrate it because of the ripple effect of the rise in fuel prices, which in return will affect the cost of living, the cost of transportation, logistics, which is that. But when you look at from where you sit as ordinary citizen, do you think probably things will get a little bit better moving forward? What is the way forward now from here?
The way forward, one, we need a serious government which loves people, but not greedy hyenas in these offices. Because if we have people who have Kenyans at heart, they can stabilize the fuel prices, not giving excuses of these other countries that are fighting. Two, you have seen that today, you are CS Energy. When now things became hot, we want accountability. Why this fuel is happening like this? Now he says that he doesn't know. We have seen some officers in the apron, these offices being taken to DCI, being grilled, they are being relieved, they give some few cash here and there, they are released. These are just games that we need serious Kenyans who can sit down. We have serious economic giants in this country who can sit down and tell us how we can manage this issue of fuel. If you look at this, Mr. Evans, Kenya can produce oil. Are you aware that Kenyan we have oil? Why are we not using our oil? Because it is corruption. Because the moment we start like tallow oil in Turkana, it is a good field that we can have our own oil. But these guys, they want to import this oil because they know what they are gaining from importation of this oil. That is why they don't have any intention of ensuring that Kenya will produce our own oil. So it is something that for we to be safe, we just need to have this government out of office. Yes.
And what's the solution? Because if maybe let's say like the government goes, what assurance do you have that the next government will actually solve the crisis that we have, especially when it comes to the matters fuel? In 2022, you saw what happened about the fuel crisis in the country, which was in return occasioned by the Ukraine and Russian war. Today we have Iran and of course the United States of America versus Israel war. And if there is something that we are not getting it right from the leadership perspective, not only in Kenya but in the African context, is planning for foreseen crisis like this. So what steps should Kenya and of course Africa in this return take to make sure that it cushions its citizens against such occurrence maybe in the future? Because that is the real discussion and that is the big elephant in the room. So how do we address the emerging crisis?
One, we don't need to have 16% or 8% tax on fuel. Fuel can be tax-free because this is one major area that drives an economy of our country. Because tax you can get from other areas instead of getting it from oil. We can have oil, which is important, tax-free. The moment that one happens, that means even the prices of other commodities comes down. And the moment the prices of other commodities comes down, that means there'll be higher purchasing power of these commodities. The moment we have higher purchasing power of these commodities, that means there'll be higher generating income. People will be making money. And from that, the tax will go up. But the moment the oil has 16 or 8% income tax, that means that there'll be lower purchasing power. And the moment there is lower purchasing power, that means that the commodities and the tax generated from these commodities and even production itself goes down. Because, for example, if it's a manufacturing industry, If there is lower purchasing power of a certain product, that means even the tax that is being generated from that company goes down because people are suffering. But if there is higher purchasing power of a certain commodity, that means there will be higher taxes being paid from there. So it is not a must that now we sell fuel at a very high cost, reducing the purchasing power. Yes.
And like we have like the fuel levy, some levies like the road maintenance levy, the railway levy, all these levies, because it's something like the money that will go to the construction and the maintenance of the road must be get through the taxes and of course the levies that we get through the importation of fuel in the country. So how will the government now maintain these roads, maybe propose to even construct other roads, if now we reduce the taxation and of course the levies that come with it? Will it add the burden to already struggling Kenyans?
Good. What is the landing cost of petrol in Kenya? It's around 40 to 100 shillings.
107 for petrol?
Not 100, it's not yet.
The landing cost?
Yes.
For petroleum?
For petrol.
For petrol, it's 107. For kerosene and diesel, I think it's around 170. That is the landing cost. If you add now the levies and the value added tax, it comes around 206.
Like the other day, I saw President William Ruto saying that the cost should be there because we are a middle class country. One, that's a lie. Kenya is not a middle class country. It is a lower middle class country. Two, if you compare the cost of fuel in Ethiopia and in Kenya, Ethiopia is a landlocked country, right? And the fuel there, petrol is 115 shillings. Diesel is 107 shillings. And it's a landlocked country. What are they doing? The same thing that Ethiopia is doing, Kenya can do it better because we have better mines in Kenya compared to Ethiopia, maybe. That is it. So here is just that we have people who want to steal from Kenyans. They just want to ensure that Kenyans still suffer. And the president also lied the other day that that Kenya, the price is like that because we have more roads to maintain. That is another lie. Kenya has 20 to 22,000 kilometers of road, tarmac road that need to be maintained. Ethiopia, whose price is 107 and 115 respectively, has 27,000 kilometers of road to be maintained. So if you want to know that there is something that is not right, the president is just issuing words to fool we Kenyans. The moment he takes his mind right and loves Kenya, we shall not have these gimmicks. We can reduce. Yes, we need these roads to be maintained. I feel good when I see our roads are good, but this can be reduced to half. Road levies, the levies can be reduced to half. We can have these petroleum products like petrol and diesel retailing at 140. It is very possible. They can add like 40 shillings a liter. That one still can help.
All right.
But now that we have very many people want to eat from it, that is why they are doubling these prices. Yes, because Kenya, we have 22,000 road network that need to be maintained. And Ethiopia has 27,000. And the prices in Ethiopia and Kenya, you can see.
All right.
Yes.
Let's talk about now the politics about surrounding the fuel prices in the country. You remember the opposition issued a 7-day ultimatum for the government to lower the price of fuel or the result to mass action. Does it really necessary?
It is necessary. Yes, very necessary. We have men in offices who don't hear us unless we come out. Yes, that is the only language they understand. And you see, if you understand that this is the kind of language that this person can understand and get to understand what I'm saying, use that language. Let Kenyans come out. Because this government, if we tell them, reduce, they will not hear. Yes, and we have even given them arithmetics, how this thing can be reduced from 197 to 150, regardless of what is happening in the world, the war that is happening in the world. If we have tax-free, this 8%, let it be 0. This road levy, let it be 2% or less than that, so that you get something small. And because today, if this fuel, you tax it at 2%, and we have 10 million people, buying a liter, that means you'll get higher. But if you tax it too much and 1 million people are the only purchasing because most of the cars and vehicles will be parking, you'll still get the same. You better increase the purchasing power and generate more. Yes, that is business that our people don't want to understand. Yes.
For the time being, as we wait for this intervention to happen, now we had the Matatu Owners Association of Kenya. They are very adamant and they have refused to lower the cost of bus fare in the process. And this has, in result, adding the burden to Kenyans, especially now during the transportation sector, and of course, which is very key aspect, moving from one place to another, doing your daily routines as a nation, and of course, as a country, the way we normally do our affairs. But the rise in, bus fare, do you think maybe, now that we have the reduction probably by 9 shillings on top of what was proposed initially by EPRA until now the recent review, do you think the Matatu Owners Association, they need to at least, give Kenyans a little bit of, relief?
I can't blame Matatu owners because they are in business. And you realize that most of these Matatus, they are on loan. So it also depends with what you are taking home. You see, there is a lot of cash that is taking, a lot of cash exchanging place in this Matatu industry. Very many people are taking something from there. So if you spend more on fuel, the driver is there, you need to pay. The makanga, the conductor is there, you need to pay. Even something that these policemen, they are there, they want to be taking something small from these Matatu owners. We don't want, we are not hiding. I will always say the truth. This is the policeman. In every stage, you find that there is 100 shillings being left there. So by the end of it, you will not blame the Matatu owners. So the blame lies solely to the government. Let the government ensure that they stabilize the price. So after they have stabilized the price, then we shall go back to the Matatu owners and ask them now, reduce the fare. But today, if you want the government to increase the fuel price and you want the Matatu to reduce the fare, we will be unfair to these guys. They will not be doing business. 25%. And they will not be motivated.
25%.
Yes. That's something. Yes. And you see, that one, these Matatu guys are doing great job. Yes. For these people to go to work, like Nairobi alone, people who use Matatu are more than 4 million people on daily basis. So the moment we take away Matatu and we start to blame them, 4 million people will not be moving around. So they are doing a great job. And what we are calling them, let them come out in these demos that we are calling upon to ensure that the government gets to hear us so that the prices of fuel comes down. Let them come out and help us in this.
All right. Because of time, let me say asante sana for making time to shed some light in this very important discussion, even as we reflect on the rising fuel prices and its implication on the economy and the common citizen. So my guest tonight has been Pamphile Omondi. Asante sana for making time once again. Your time is always appreciated.
Thank you.
All right, now let's continue with some, other news making headline. Now, Cabinet Secretary for Public Service Geoffrey Ruku has intensified political attacks on opposition leaders, accusing them of misleading Ukambani residents while benefiting from state privileges during, or rather urging the region to align with government to unlock faster development and enhance access to key public resources. Edna Nerea reports.
The Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has urged Ukambani residents on rethink opposition politics, arguing that collaboration with the national government would unlock development gains, while accusing rival leaders of advancing self-interest over the region's progress. While speaking at a public engagement in Makueni County, Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku accused the opposition of pursuing politics of distraction against the government, saying such actions undermine development efforts and urging leaders to focus on constructive engagement for national progress.
Tuwache kuuzia wa Kenya uoga, tuwache kuuzia wa Kikuyu uoga. Watu ambao wamepewa cheo kubwa katika serikali wakashindwa na kufanya kazi sawa, wakaondolewa maofisini, wakashindwa kusema yale ambao wanafanya, wako huko nje. Sasa kazi yao ni kusunguka wakisema vile serikali iko mbaya, vile mheshimiwa rais ni mtu afanyi kazi, lakini tunajua rais anajituma.
He also reiterated the government's commitment to food relief programs, saying ongoing distribution is meant to address drought-related hardship and protect vulnerable families, while urging leaders to support humanitarian inventions instead of politicizing aid effort.
Mwelezee jameni. Nimesikia viongozi wengine wakisema ati serikali zipeane chakula. Serikali ya huko Amerika na kona zile zingine za dunia inahakikisha ya kwamba wale ambao hawajiwezi serikali inawapatia chakula. Kwa hivyo hata serikali yenu ya Kenya inahakikisha ya kwamba chakula itapatikana kwa wale wote ambaye wanataka chakula.
On the other hand, leaders call for peaceful political engagement, warning against the involvement of youths in violence or disruption of public meetings and urging all stakeholders to embrace dialogue, tolerance and respect for democratic process to maintain stability and unity.
Kama utaki mkutano yetu tafadhali usikuje. Wewe kesho ukipanga yako na sisi hatutakuja. Kama utaki mkutano yetu usipange vijana wakuja kutupigia kelele. Wewe na wewe ukipanga yako sisi hatutakupangia vijana. Kwa sababu nchi ya Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. Tunataka tuende kila mahali katika nchi ya Kenya. Tuongeleshe wananchi. Tuwaonyeshe yale maendeleo ambayo serikali imewafanyia. Kwa sababu tunajua wananchi wa Kenya sio wajinga. Wanataka kuchagua wale viongozi ambao wamewafanyia maendeleo. Kweli si kweli?
The leaders emphasized the need for issue-based politics, encouraging youth to focus on development priorities, civic participation, and constructive engagement in national decision-making process. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Edina Nerea, for that comprehensive reporting. Now, outrage was witnessed following the outcome of a court case in Ngong, Kajiado County, after a magistrate ordered that the stolen household items be released to the accused person after he was set free. The suspect, Colonel Onyango, was facing charges of stealing household goods belonging to the late Rhoda Wanjiku, valued at over 700,000 shillings. Listen in.
A court order signed by resident magistrate J.M. Mulisho directed the officer commanding at Olulua police station to immediately release the suspect Colonel Onyango and return the household items that had been held by police as exhibit.
Na nilipota hapa Ololua police station.
The move sparked unrest in Ngong, Kajiado County, with residents questioning why a suspect in a theft case had been released.
Tulikuwa tunajaribu kufuata vile mambo ilikuwa ama kuliendaje ndio oda itolewe ama kesi imalizwe, na hatujawahi sikizwa hata siku moja. Hata kesi haijasikizwa, kesi haijaanza. Hakuna hata tarehe moja tulipewa ya kwenda kusikizwa kwa hii kesi.
Colonel Onyango had been accused of breaking into the home of the late Rhoda Wanjiku Gitau in January this year and stealing household items worth over 700,000 Kenyan shillings.
Kwa hivyo nilikuja nikaripoti.
The court's decision drew sharp criticism from the deceased's family, who said it sets a dangerous precedent where criminal suspects are not only released without prosecution but are also allowed to continue engaging in crime.
Sasa tunasema huyu prosecutor must be prosecuted. The prosecutor must be prosecuted. Aeleze aliwachiliaje huyu mwizi na wakarudi kumpa mali ambaye sio yake. Tuna kanda zote za CCTV vile waliiba, walivyokuwa wakizitoa, lakini wakati huu tunavyozungumza hata huyo mkora alikuwa amekuja kudai vitu akiwa ameshika hiyo oda ya kotini apewe mali ambaye ni ya wizi.
David Kiarie, the son of the deceased, is now calling on the Chief Justice Martha Koome to intervene and ensure justice is served, insisting that the judiciary should not be influenced by individuals who disregard the law. Caroline Kimwele, KUTV.
Time for the latest update in the world of sports. Now, Olympic and World 800 meters champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi hinted that he will give a stab at 1500 meters race in the upcoming Kipkeino Classic race set for this Friday at the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. Wanyonyi stated his desire to transition from 2-lap races to 1500 meters with the 2028 Olympic Games in his mind. The 21-year-old believes he is young and aims to progress by challenging himself with the longer distances, including the 1500 meters and the 5000 meters in the near future. Wanyonyi transition follows a successful 2025 season where he dominated the 800 meters races, clocking a wild leading time in Monaco to become the 10th fastest man of all time. Right, it's a wrap here on KUTV State of the Nation. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene and for all who made this production a success. Joy Mtava has been our sign language interpreter tonight. My good name is Auma Evans. Until next time, do have a lovely night and don't forget, successful people looks like you and I. Until then, enjoy the rest of your viewing.